Head to Head starts now, the home building industry's go-to stage, where top leaders bring real solutions you can use now. Powered by New Homes Solutions Consulting. Today's headline: Persistence, the key to effective follow-up, with S. Robert August. Here's your host, Kimberly Mackey. Listen anywhere, watch on YouTube, or join live at newhomesolutions.com/head-to-head.
Welcome, everybody. I am so excited. Kimberly Mackey here with New Home Solutions for the first of what I hope is a lot to follow of my mini series. And by mini, I don't mean a saga that goes on for several episodes. It's we're going to try to do some things with some 30-minute bites that give you just absolutely fantastic information, timely information that you can use right now to build your business. So welcome to Head to Head, the mini series. And I couldn't think of anyone better to help me kick this off than the legend himself, S. Robert August. If you're in home building and you don't know S. Robert August, well, that's on you, man. But that's totally on you, because he is the number one spike. If you are involved with the National Association of Home Builders, you know, every time we invite a new member, you get a spike credit, and no one is even close to touching S. Robert August's record on that. And that's because you're just such a genuine human being, and you reach out to people and connect with them on a personal level. So today I want to talk about making those connections, the persistence that is needed with that, but the persistence that's needed with that on that human level that sometimes with technology and everything else that's going on in the world, we forget about. So those of you who don't know me, just quick little elevator speech. The company is New Home Solutions Consulting. What I do is I help you to provide predictable and profitable sales. So I'm an immersion consultant. Anything that helps your sales to be the engine that drives your train rather than running it off the tracks. I hope that you will give me a call. So there you go. There's me. Now, without further ado, let's get to Mr. August. So give us, I don't even know how you shorten this down to a little elevator intro, because your storied career with this industry is long, but give us that abbreviated version of it, and I will provide a show link for you to read more about his accomplishments.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I forget, I'd like you to share your phone number with the audience. So as you said, give them a call. I think it's time for them to write down your number so they can contact you and obtain your extraordinary information that you have to share. In fact, it's beyond extraordinary, it's quintessential. Thank you so much. Quick elevator speech. My team is a marketing, management, and sales consultation company entitled North Star Synergies, where we synergize everyone together into a positive networking environment. Throughout the years of our companies that were founded in 1983, we've either marketed or directly sold well over $60 billion worth of real estate and related products and services. So with that said, we have our experience, our notable experiences working with large master plan communities. And even in the background where Kimberly is in Florida, one of our hallmarks is a corporation called Disney, where we developed all the policies and protocols for celebration, a 5,000 acre master plan community. 30 years later, 31 years later, they're still using our protocols in order to facilitate every aspect of real estate within the 5,000 acres. But suffice it to say, let's jump into the material right now and share with you a series of points that will ring to your excellence as you apply the material that Kimberly and I share with you. I'd like to begin by sharing a poem by Edgar Albert Guest called Don't Quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late, when the night came down, how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And when you never can tell how close you are, it may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst, you must not quit. Perseverance, persistence. Let's talk about it, Kimberly.
Wow, that's a mic drop right there. So you have built a career on personal outreach, personal touches, and connections. Talk to us about how you structure that, and how do you know when you are striking the right chord with people?
It's a very, very good question. I'm still learning. After 54 consecutive years in this business, I will tell you that just being with you today is a tremendous learning experience, and hopefully the audience appreciates you with all you've done for the industry, both the trade associations and your personal business. I think that the big thing is it's getting to know your audience, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's working with a corporation, as you do with your immersion programs. And the more that you can understand given needs, our business is not about the wants. Business is about providing the need of what the customer really needs, and focusing on how to deliver that. And as we've learned in marketing, the first ingredient of the marketing mix is research. So one of the things that we have tried to do through our companies is really focus on getting to know the customer from the industry inside and out. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times, if I were to meet New Home Solutions today for the first time, I would have certainly looked on your website. I would have done more research Googling you. I would have looked at you from a personal perspective, business to business person, because I'm going to be meeting you rather than just the whole company. So in essence, I want to then do a deep dive and find out as many people as I can who know Kimberly Mackey. So then when we have the meeting, Kimberly, it's not about me. It's about you, or the individuals with whom we're speaking. And what I've learned is a pointed psychological fact. The more that I can have you speak to me, the more relaxed you are going to become. Why? Because you're hearing the sound of your voice. You're not hearing me pontificate, reflect, share information. We're learning about you. So as I take copious notes through either a tablet or handwritten notes on an 8.5 by 14 pad, I'm getting to know every questions that I've posed to you regarding, we call them, they're interrogative questions that are based on another wonderful poem from Rudyard Kipling. And he refers to them as his 6 honest serving men. And the poem was written over 100 years ago. And it's all about asking questions of who, what, where, why, when, and how. Once again, for the audience, who, what, where, why, when, and how. There is no way, Kimberly, that you can answer a question posed to you through these interrogative points with a yes or a no. These are open-ended question points. So it endears me to asking questions to bring you out and have you share what's important to you. I know me. I'm not here to interview me. I'm here to interview you and learn how I can best serve you. If I ask a closed-ended question, it's just to help me bring you back and center us within the overall program. So a closed-ended question will answer with yes or no, whereas an interrogative question will give me opinion, give me fact, provide me with truth. So those items is then I can use that throughout the interview, if you will. And I continue to call this an interview. We can call it a sales presentation. Yet at the same time, the more that I can have you share information about you, the more I can be directly effective in helping you accomplish your goals more quickly.
Now, you couch that in terms of more of a B2B, a business to business type scenario. But with our salespeople who are listening, that is exactly what discovery is, when you can use your two ears and one mouth accordingly, right? We're listening more than we're talking. We are getting them to engage with us and tell us more, not going into product within, that 3-minute drill of not getting into product right away tends to be hard for our sales team. So if we're listening with that intent that you're talking about, asking those types of questions, it's amazing what opportunities reveal themselves in those conversations that someone who's really paying attention then can use for that follow-up, can use to build value. I mean, the list goes on and on. Do you agree?
Oh, without question. And everything that we're talking about as it applies to perseverance, persistence, attention to detail applies from business to business, then to business to consumer. So in essence, and it can also apply in working with trade associations, nonprofits, as well as governmental jurisdictions, especially with governmental jurisdiction, because you're really in an educational mode in all of these presentations. And the more information that you can receive, the more that you can create the best plan of action in order to help these companies, individuals, governmental jurisdictions, trade associations, nonprofits, et cetera, accomplish their goals.
Because at the end of the day, we're human to human. And when you make those human to human connections, then, the solutions do present themselves. So our topic today was about persistence. And I think there's a big misnomer when it comes to persistence and maybe the connotation of persistence. So how do you take that word and what do you mean by it when you talk about persistence?
Well, I think as we discussed moments ago, one of the key things that we have found historically in a business environment, especially sales, is that 95% of every individual that's met, business to business, business to consumer, is never followed up. Or better said, only 5% are followed up. So one of the key things that I have found over and over is that he or she who follows up after meeting an individual is going to be able to ingratiate themselves because their competition is not following up. We know this. You and I have shopped countless sales centers, discovery centers nationwide. And when we first began, our corporation, our consulting corporation in 1983, one of our first services was mystery shoppers. We found over and over and over again that the excellence of the salespeople at that time was fantastic as it related to selling the product. What was extremely weak and still is to this day is the follow-up. And as a direct result, and this is across the board in every industry. This is not just new home sales. There was a study, by the way, that was done many years ago, over 40 years ago through NEHB. And it was sort of put under the rug afterwards. But what was found is that new home salespeople all thought that they were going to make $1 million the first year. And they found out very quickly that this business is a business of follow-up. You have to be persistent. You have to persevere. And I'll share a couple of points that set us hopefully apart, and watching you perform throughout the years, you embody many and espouse many of these points. One of the things that we'll do in a meeting is try to provide as much information. We set expectations. And when we realize that we can't sell, or rather close the buyer in the first meeting, we begin to set expectations to develop the next meeting as to when can we meet? When does your schedule permit us to meet again? Would this
Absolutely.
Thursday at 2:00 or Friday morning at 9:00? So we're moving in that direction. The other thing that we've learned, we may know everything about our products and services, yet what I found is that the buyers do not want to know 100% of everything. They have certain needs, as we discussed. And once we determine those needs, we start providing answers to help them and guide them into what we call the sales funnel. And this is a complement to perseverance, to persistence. And so what we try to do is answer as much as we can, yet at the same time, knowing that the more that we can follow up and engineer to the next meeting, if we can't close them in the first meeting, then we want to put ourselves into a position. Where we can engineer the opportunity to open up the door to let the customer know. I'm glad you brought that question to my attention. I don't have the answer at this particular time, but I'd like to call you back within the next 2 hours. I'd like to call you back tomorrow morning. So in essence, one of the things that we do is that we try to leave 3 or 4 questions unanswered so that we can do the follow-up. And we're setting the stage because we have also found through our studies that the more that we follow up after meeting the prospective buyer, the more likely we are to close that buyer due to the follow-up. And what we try to do is explain in the world of technology that, yes, we can send you text messages. Yes, we can send you emails. When we follow up, we'd like to speak to you in person because so much gets lost in translation.
It sure does.
So in essence, if you're not available, Kimberly, we'll leave you a message, not with all the information, because we want to have this dialogue continue with you. So when we call back within 2 hours, and again, the likelihood that the competition has ever called back within 2 hours is like 0.
Yeah, and just a quick script on what that might look like is as simple as this, people. This isn't hard. Hi, Mr. August. It's Kimberly Mackey. I so enjoyed meeting you today. I know you asked me about the ability to go from a 2-car to a 3-car garage, and I didn't have that information readily available, but I've done my research on that, and I have some answers for you. So if you'll just give me a call back, I'll be happy to review that with you. Or we can also schedule an appointment to look at that and many of the other options that you wanted, because I also took the liberty of finding some pricing for those for you.
That's
simple
great.
as that.
It's as simple as that. What a great segue, because what we have found in this situation is that by calling back right away with that enthusiastic voice, with that care, consideration, using their name, also repeating their name every 3rd or 4th sentence when we first meet them, it's endearing ourselves to them. They love the sound of their voice when they're speaking to us, and they also like to hear their name
It
repeat it.
also helps me because I'm terrible with names. So if I can repeat their name several times, then it cements it in my brain, and then I won't ever forget it.
And they appreciate it. So then what we do, if we have 4 questions to answer, we'll probably, and we know the answers, or we've researched and know the answer to the 4, and we've left a message for them to call back, letting them know, as you pointed out in the quick diatribe, that we have the information, or we've researched the information and we have information to share with you immediately. When you have a moment, please call back, and leaving our phone number again, so that we can make sure that they have it. But it also lets them know subconsciously or subliminally that we're detail oriented. And then when we speak to them, depending upon how we're relating to them, we may give them just 2 answers to the question and let them know that we're researching the other points of interest and that we will get back to them within the next 2 hours.
It's a really important point you just made. So I don't want to gloss over that, because a lot of times we wait to get the perfect information before we follow up. And sometimes we're still in that information gathering phase. So part of building that credibility with your buyer is letting them know you haven't forgotten them. They're still important to you, and you are working on that. You have part of the answer, but not all of the answer. I think it's okay to do that. Not every 5 minutes, but if you have said, I'm going to call you back in 2 hours, or I'm going to call you back tomorrow morning, and you still don't have all that information, still call them back. I think we get salespeople who go, I don't have the information yet. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to reach out and say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm still working on this. I've got part of it. Feel free to give me a call back and I can go over what I have. But in the meantime, just letting you know, I'm still working on it. Let me know if 4 o'clock today is going to be an okay time for me to get back with you. Set an appointment to make an appointment. It's okay. Get in the habit. Like Robert said, we're either closing the sale or we're closing for that next appointment.
Yeah, and all of those are really good points that you've shared. And I think that the other application of that is what we also do in a training process. Not only do we want to call within a 2-hour period of time, but we also want to send an email thanking the prospect or prospects, the potential buyer, for having come out. And what we're doing is finding the fact that the more that we can touch the consumer with emails, with phone calls, certainly with text messages, the better it is. We like to stay away from using text as much as possible and emails initially, because so much gets lost in translation with short answers. The other point is that when individuals can hear your voice as well and know that you're concerned and that you're there to serve, and having the other point that I wanted to share in the initial meeting, setting expectations for how we will work together are critically important. And one of the things that we have trained over and over and over, and that I've used since I began as a salesman years ago, is the fact that letting the customer, whether business to business, business to consumer, letting them know that you care, letting them know that, not only am I going to be following up with you and providing you with the information, I want you to understand that this is my job, and I'm graded by my sales manager, by the management team, on my ability to deliver the best sales presentation and presentations forever. And I'm going to do, and I've found that the more communicative that I can be, the more helpful that I will be, the more you're going to be able to become our next home buyer, as well as our next lead generator and referral resource for our company. You're setting
referrals are fantastic, right? There's no better compliment than a referral. I want to go back to your text messaging thing. So, I know we have a new generation of people coming in. They're very tech savvy. They like to text. I agree with Robert saying that, that short, just text messages themselves, when they have a time and a place. But if you have to text somebody and that's their preferred method of communication, I'm going to throw the V word out there. It's going to scare some of you, but use video rather than typing it out in a text message or your shorthand and your abbreviations and all of those things where something could get misconstrued. Do a short 30-second video and send a link to that 30-second video. People are more likely to click on it, particularly if what they see when they open that video is their name written on a piece of paper, because now they're like, wait, they made this just for me. So if you want to set yourself apart, stop doing the things. What he's trying to tell you is stop doing things the way everybody else is doing them, and start doing those touch points in a way that makes sense to people and is very personalized to people. And yes, you have time to do it, because that's the next objection we're going to get, right?
Yeah. The other thing too is that I'd like to share in the moments that we have together, the fact that each call that you have, you want to share not only the information that they're seeking, but possibly new information. There may be new pricing. There may be new features. You now have found that you can make a change order to structural integrity of the home. You now have new information on various programs that will enhance their opportunity to become your next buyer. The other point, too, is that we also know in closing, as we're following up, a fear of loss is probably one of the single most important closing techniques. And it's not to be a hard closer in a hard world. It's to be a soft closer in a hard world. So the more that we're sharing information in a timely manner, and you can use the fear of loss as you built trust, respect, and rapport. You don't want to use it right away to put fear into people, but as you've developed the rapport with each of these individuals, it will be a long-lasting opportunity for you to continue to gauge their needs. Now, to gauge and engage. The other thing that's important as we share this, in every relationship, buyers, we hear the term buyers are liars. Buyers are not liars. Buyers are afraid. Buyers are afraid. So once we can establish the rapport that we're there to be a servant to their specific needs, and we've established that to their liking, they will become our buyers. So the follow-up is continuing to be important. And the more that they hear from you, not as a pest, but as an information provider, as an educator, as a counselor, as a guide, you are going to have them more relaxed. And as they become more relaxed, they will share more information with you to help both parties become successful together.
I agree. I want to, as we're wrapping up our time together here today, I do want to hit to the objection that we get from our salespeople is, well, where's the line? When am I following up too much? When have I crossed the line with this? And what is the cadence that you recommend? So I have yet to find anybody crossing that line, but so never, as I shared pre-show, no one's ever called me up as a sales manager or sales leader and said, hey, your salesperson has followed up with me way too many times. Tell them to stop. Like, that's never happened. So, but I know that's a real fear that our salespeople have, that they're being a pest or they're crossing that line. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So I think that the point comes back when we're first meeting the customer. And we've engaged and we're into maybe discussion point 4 or 5. Let me take a moment and share with you how I have been able to work with buyers just like you. And I'll set the expectation. One of the things is that there's so much to discuss. On the average home, for example, we know we have over 300,000 parts. We know that we're working with 100 companies to build the home for you, and another 300 to 400 companies that will be supplying manufactured and goods and supplies for the building of your home. So we do have a lot to share. And one of the things that I have found that and others have felt too, Yet through our research, we know that the more information that we can provide you with truth and fact, it's going to help you make a better decision and eventually enjoy the home as you move into it and create memories with you and your family. So therefore, I'm going to be following up with you on a regular basis to be, again, your guide, your instructor, your counselor, your teacher. And it's very important for me to be able to do that so that I know that we're connecting and providing you with your needs to enjoy the forthcoming home that we're going to be building for you.
I think you look at their time frame. Are they looking to move tomorrow, or are they looking to move 6 months from now? I think you can space things out based on, or a year from now. Where are they in their process? And certainly look at how to follow up with them. So what is their work schedule? Obviously, we don't want to call people and interrupt them when they're at work. We want to make sure that, and if they have small children, they're putting the babies to bed at night. We don't want to call then. So finding out, again, building that rapport, finding out about them and what works for them and a time that makes sense for you to follow up with them. I mean, you can set a regular standing appointment. Hey, I'm just going to touch base with you and, give you the latest updates that I have, give you our latest pricing, find out what's going on. I know you were working on the home, trying to get it ready to put it on the market, so I'm going to check in with you periodically. Set the expectation and then follow through. I think that's really the key. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things, just to give people a little bit of takeaway that they can do as you're doing your sales meeting, do these. I know that we have our CRMs and I know we have our automated follow-up, but what we don't have are a sales team that feels confident doing these follow-ups. So take a workshop and a whiteboard and whiteboard out with actual buyers what that follow-up cadence could look like based on that buyer who is maybe 3 months out, based on a buyer who's 4 months out, or based on a buyer with a particular need. Perhaps they're in a path to home ownership. How can you release some information to them in palatable, bite-sized pieces so that they can digest it and be valuable as part of their process? And when I say path to home ownership, I mean that person who maybe can't buy a home right now. They really want to, they're willing and they're and ready, but they're not able. And they may have a credit repair issue. They may be waiting on a settlement, the home to sell, something. Give them some tools to help them. That educational component goes a long way. So I know that you had a poem that you wanted to help close us out today and give us the inspiration. And I thank you so much for sharing all of your expertise with us. So I'm going to let you close us out, Mr. August, and give us that poem to get us going on the right path.
Great. I've got one poem and a quick quote. And this is called The Little Blue Engine by Shel Silverstein. The little blue engine looked up at the hill. His light was weak. His whistle was shrill. He was tired and small, and the hill was tall, and his face blushed red as he softly said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So he started up with a chug and a strain, and he puffed and pulled with might and main, and slowly he climbed a foot at a time, and his engine coughed as he whispered soft, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. With a squeak and a creak and a toot and a sigh, with an extra hope and an extra try. He would not stop. Now he neared the top, and strong and proud he cried out loud, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Well, he was almost there, when smash, bash, crash, he slid down and mashed into engine hash on the rocks below, which just goes to show, if the track is tough and the hill is rough, thinking you can just ain't enough. And our friend that we've learned to grow up with, Winston Churchill, has said over and over and over, never, 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 never give up. Kimberly, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you in the audience today. We've covered a lot of information and hopefully will stimulate the opportunity for everyone to follow up early and often. Once
Absolutely.
again, thank you so much.
Thank you for being our kickoff for this mini series, and I hope you'll tune in as we have many more episodes planned for you this year. Thank you to the legend himself, S. Robert August. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Head to Head. Please subscribe in your favorite app. Visit newhomesolutions.com to learn more.